Hi, welcome to the demo of the RFQ scenario that we at GFT have built on top of the digital asset platform. We've done this using the new DAML language, which we're quite excited about.
And today I'm going to take you through it. So before we do, we're just going to go through a couple of slides. One slide about GFT. So we're about a 5,000 man plus organisation across 11 countries, about 400 million euros revenue a year, just to give you a flavour of who we are. And what we're going to do today is we're going to look at a particular scenario, the request for quote scenario. And it's a relatively simple one, but we think it highlights the specialty or special functionality of a DLT. And very simply, we have a customer, a broker, and a market maker. Today, we've invented a neat little ecosystem. So we have Cinque Bank making a request for a quote on an equity option to Redis brokers, who's going to farm it out to 4 market makers. And these are ML&Z, KLVR, Waldorf & Goldstein, and Sahara Investments. These will respond with quotes. Redis brokers will select the best one and then return that to the buyer, who will then accept it. And that's where we're going to leave the scenario today and leave the post-trade for some other time. Now, should just point out that Waldorf & Goldstein may or may not, or one of the market makers may or may not make a quote and may abstain. And the other thing to say is that we've got 3 front ends here. So we have one for the buyer, one for the broker, one for one of the market makers. The other 3 of the market makers are going to be on auto quotas, so they're going to respond with a price of 50. But that is an example of where we could bring AI into the sort of DLT mix. So just before we start it, we're just going to see what's the kind of the architecture, if you like. And very simply, we have a distributed ledger running across all 6 parties. So we've got 3 actual real parties and 3 auto quotas, and the real parties have a front end, and the auto quotas are essentially bots that listen to events off the ledger and respond. Like I say, the ledger runs across all 6 parties. This will be typified today by running it across 3 laptops. So all the auto quotas are actually going to run on the broker's laptop today, but these trust boundaries show you kind of where the divisions would be. Okay, so now we're going to have a go over here. I'm going to see if we can get this to go. So what I've got here is I've got the buyer in green, the broker, which is on this screen over here, in grey, and then we've got the market maker in yellow over here. And what we're going to do is the buyer is going to make a request for a price on an equity option. And the first one, so we're going to go over here, and we are going to make a request for an equity option, and I'm going to do it on Telefonica today. So this is a buying a European put option for 50,000 Telefonica at 8.24, expiring at the end of the year. So I create that, and what happens is this smart contract gets created on the ledger now, and it appears both on the buyer, which is this one, and also on the broker, shown over here. Now, this is important for a permission distributed ledger because at the moment only the buyer and the broker see this, and the market maker, if you look, has no idea about what's happening yet. So the broker is going to take this and he's going to say, okay, well, first of all, I need to create a smart contract to send this out to people. So I'm going to send it out to 4 market makers, and so he creates a smart contract that does that, and then and as you can see, there is I've pre-populated these drop downs, but we're going to dispatch this request out to 4 different market makers. So let's do that. We'll send it out to Sahara and to KLVR and Waldorf & Goldstein. And you can see they're responding, so their little headless bots are responding with prices already, and they've been set up, so they're very simple bots. They just respond with 50. And I'm also going to dispatch it to ML&Z. So over on this one, so I'm now take off my broker hat and put on my market maker hat. As you can see, this has come up for ML&Z. Now, important to note that the information about who the buyer is over here is not passed on to ML&Z. So who sees what when is a very important part of the process with an RFQ, and it's a great use case for a distributed ledger. Okay, so over here, we're going to make an offer for this one. Now, obviously, this person doesn't know what the other people have offered. I happen to know that they've all done 50, so I'm going to put it at 49, which means I should win it. And I'm going to submit that back. And so now the broker has got to a stage where he has 4 quotes that he can now process. And when processing them, what we're going to do is we're going to take the lowest in this situation, but this potentially could be MiFID II compliant and apply best execution. The nice thing about executing this inside a smart contract is, of course, that the logic of it is exactly the same, obeys the same constraints as the data, i.e. it's fully available at the point where, at any point in the future. So the logic is entirely transparent. So let's process that, and he's going to go away and figure out which one's the lowest. In this case, it's a very simple algorithm we got today. And it's worked out that ML and Z, i.e. our market maker over here, is the lowest. And we're going to send this back to the client. Now, in exactly the same way that the market maker did not know who the buyer was, the buyer knows who the market maker is, but all the market maker knows is that it submitted a quote. So he doesn't know that he's won it yet, and he only finds out when he accepts it. And this idea of reimagining the process to figure out who knows what when, and who can do what when, is an important thing. So if I look at the offers that have come back, because my request has now expired, because it's or has been archived because somebody's broker's made a request, I'm now going to accept that, and what will happen is that the client offer smart contract over on the broker and the quote smart contract on here will both archive, and it will turn into a deal. So you can see that they will then disappear from there. And if I look over here, I realize that there is the 4 smart contracts that have ended up. So we have the 2 legs of the deal, which are, just see these, the 2 legs of the deal here and here, and the 2 fees, one for the broker and one for the market maker as well. So what's happened is we've gone through the whole workflow process, accepted the quote, and now ended up with the 4 active smart contracts, which are done and agreed by all parties across here.
Okay, so that was the RFQ scenario that we here at GFT had built on top of the digital asset platform using the DAML language, which we're pretty excited about. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, then please feel free to reach out to me at the details below. Thanks. Bye-bye.